Now, I think it's pretty safe to say that the ecosystem of the world of Subnautica is fairly balanced, well, at least before the main protagonist starts meddling with it. There is always something bigger in the food chain, and there is always something smaller to help nourish those predators. Today, however, we will be talking about something so vital, something so important, that without it, the large majority of life on planet 4546b would probably never exist in the first place, and we would have no game. That's right, today we will be talking about the all-encompassing blue mass, also known as water. I'll be telling you everything we know about it, where in the world you can find it, what it looks like, what it behaves like, and any other interesting points of trivia that I'm able to dig up. Now, before we begin, I have to preface this by saying that this will undoubtedly contain major spoilers from the world of Subnautica and its story, so if you don't want to have any of that spoiled, I'd strongly recommend clicking off the video and coming back to it later. Now, with that out of the way, get on your best swimming trunks, prepare to hold your breath, and let's go. Now, first things first, even though it might be hard to believe, water is actually not as hard to find in the world of Subnautica as some people might think. If you're looking at it in its natural state in the wild, it should be fairly easy to identify, mostly by its properties of being wet and being mostly blue, especially when you're on the surface, and progressively getting darker as you dive deeper into the depths. Now, I hear what you might be saying, that the color of water and the darkness of it has nothing to do with the water itself, and it's actually because of the particles and the light, but to that I simply say, clearly you don't know the lore. Here, I think it's also important to bring up that even though you might be associating the water in the world 4546b with the water on current real-life planet Earth, without further evidence we cannot make that direct connection, and we will, because of that, for the remainder of this video, be working with the assumption that it is a completely different substance. Now, water in the world of Subnautica is truly a fascinating thing. Looking at its behavior in the wild, water mostly appears to be in the calm state, not directly attacking or interacting with the player. However, it is worth noting that looking at the surface of it, you can see some small waves and ripples, as if though there was a light breeze going on, which can help you identify this mysterious liquid when looking around. But let's be honest, you've all played the game and you know what water looks like and how you interact with it. The really interesting thing here is how it interacts with the rest of the life on planet 4546b. Even though this might be difficult to believe, as it seems the player is actually not flying in the world of Subnautica. In fact, they are swimming through this mysterious liquid, using the density of it to propel themselves forward. A very similar tactic has in fact been adapted by the majority of creatures that you can find in this world, using all kinds of fins, propulsion jets, or tails to navigate around the dark blue depths. It should also be noted here that this water is of utmost importance for the player's survival as well, considering that in a slightly adjusted state, namely in a filtered or boiled state, it can be consumed to replenish the H2O meter in the player's HUD. This way, the player can craft several consumables which will in fact replenish this stat, including the large filtered water, the regular filtered water, the disinfected water, reclaimed water, and also coffee, because let's be honest, there has to be something to help you stay awake when you haven't built a bed in your habitat yet, but you've already spent 2 weeks in the game. Now, technically speaking, that is all of the information that were outright given by the game, so you might be thinking that that's it, there is nothing else to talk about. However, there are a few more interesting points of trivia that I'd like to bring up before we end this video off. Now, this mysterious substance called water appears to have the ability to adjust shape and shift to fit any area that it might be found in, whether you're in the Lost River, the Jelly Shroom Caves, or the lava zones. All of the areas are filled perfectly to the brim, which could lead us to theorizing the water in fact doesn't come in any singular shape and in fact always adapts to fit its environment. This also works well with the fact that despite incredible efforts, no members of the player base have been able to locate the water's skeleton or any of its organs. It is also worth noting here that water has the ability to kill the player or some of the animals in the world if they stay inside of it for too long. Whether this is due to poison, pressure, or any other life inhibiting factors is, as of right now, unknown. However, it should also be noted that this other mysterious thing called oxygen can somewhat delay that process. And finally, even though the majority of the videos on this channel seem to be at least somewhat serious, I feel like it should never get to the point where we forget to have fun with this. So I wish you a beautiful rest of April Fool's Day, and if there are any facts or theories about water that I missed that you would like to propose, make sure to leave those down in the comments, and I would very much like to read them. Now with that, I want to wish you a beautiful rest of the day, and I'll see you all in whatever next video I make. Bye bye.